Alright, yo, man. This is part three of the Deadly Gang War Behind Central C. Let's get into it. I'm tired, but I'm not tired, but still gotta grind, you know what I'm saying?
A real-life event that almost allegedly destroyed Digga's rap career for good, this being a bar that TY raps about Digga having the whole HR locked off when he crossed that bridge. HR is short for Harrow Road, an infamous street that Fredo's gang, the HRB, or Harrow Road Boys, represent, while the accessing of this road from
Yeah, man, this is part three. So far, when watching it, it's actually pretty good. I actually like it, man, you know what I'm saying? Feel like, man, hit that like, subscribe, and run with the 2K says, man, you know what's up.
Grove happens by literally crossing a bridge. Many fans see these lyrics to describe an event that happened sometime in 2017 when Digga D allegedly shot up two rival gang members with a shotgun, one of them allegedly being a guy called Tubbs from Shepherd's Bush and another man. However, both victims would end up surviving this incident despite serious injuries, and Digga would seemingly beat the attempted murder charges related to this, later posting his paperwork online, only showing that the shooting had happened in the W10 postcode in 2017, as well as the eerie detail that one of the victims lost something, with rumors later circulating that Digga D shooting this person in the face actually left them blind. And years later, Digga D would brag in numerous bars about shooting someone in the head, like on the track Violence with Savo, and lyrics from his crib session where he talked about being interviewed about 2 attempted murders. And he would even say on the song Red Light Green Light years later that the police told him that he shot someone in the face and left them blind. But despite the disrespect, this wasn't a one-sided beef, and as time went on, Digga's rivals from Shepherd's Bush would also keep releasing music, like the March 2018 song called Grenfell by 12 Anti member and Central C's good friend F. Dot, as well as 12 World member called Rems, who would later become known as the 12 Anti-rapper Two Things. The song's chorus ends with F. Dot rapping how they came for the violence, not to be gentle, and that they'll leave their ops block like Grenfell. Many people would find this song very distasteful, as the Grenfell Tower was a real 24-story high-rise that burned down in a massive fire in June 2017, killing dozens of people. Moreover, Grenfell Tower was practically located in the hood of 1011, with this song not only making an offensive reference to the tragic fire, but also directly dissing the people that were likely to be most affected by the tragedy. Central C, on the other hand, had a completely different approach to the gang members in his area, as at the time of the fire, he actually offered a place to stay to the victims of this tragedy, which for the record seems like a genuinely nice thing for such a young guy to do, particularly given at this time he was still struggling as a small-time rapper. And it also goes to show you that at this time, Central C seemed like a pretty nice guy, having not yet fallen into the clutches of the local gang members. Anyway, overall, the Shepherd's Bush gangs were also benefiting from the increased attention that the fans of UK Drill were paying them due to the beef between them and 1011, with the 12 World rapper S1 in particular gaining increasing popularity at this time with his energetic personality and disrespectful bars, often doing songs together with fellow 12 World member Sav 12. However, both sides were about to find themselves in some serious legal troubles. First, in June 2018, the 1011 members who had been arrested in November 2017 would finally face justice after going viral behind bars, and after pleading guilty to a conspiracy to commit violent disorder, all 5 would get sentences ranging from 10 months to 3.5 years, with Digga D, real name Reese Herbert's sentence, being amongst the lowest, likely due to his age being just 17 at the time. But that wasn't all, because in an unprecedented move by the courts, they would also ban the members from making what they called violent drill music, giving them so-called CBOs or criminal behavior orders, which banned them from mentioning death or injury and postcodes in a gang context in their music and on social media. This essentially meant that they couldn't even use the name 1011.
Yeah, like I said, yeah, this is part three, but I don't know how long part three is going to be. I'm trying to make this series to where it's not like 10 parts and all that, to where I'm just dragging. I'm trying to at least end it maybe like in 5 parts or 6 parts, because that would be actually better, you know what I'm saying?
As a group anymore, as this was a textbook example of them repping their gang. They would also need to notify the police 24 hours before releasing any music or videos and give a 48-hour warning before doing any shows or recording together, providing their location. The police, on the other hand, would comment that they were now likely to target other gangs with similar restrictions, which they indeed would. And only a few months later, in September, numerous Shepherd's Bush gang members, who the police had been investigating since at least September 2017, after the incident between them and the 3 1011 members in the White City estate, would also receive similar sentences. These members would also include Central C's close friend F. Dot from 12 Anti, real name Fernando Johnson, who would receive a 3 years and 4 month sentence for violent disorder and conspiracy to commit grievous bodily harm. All of the sentenced members were also banned from appearing in videos or audio that references gangs or weapons, as well as associating with each other in public, wearing face masks in public, entering the borough of 1011 during certain hours, and perhaps most tragic of all, banned from attending the Notting Hill Carnival. Digga D himself, on the other hand, would later tell Armani Takes Risks how he had first thought that the order banned him from rapping completely.
You've gone jail, next up, then they've hit you with a CBO, taking out bare streams, boom, boom, and then you've come out.
Yeah.
Did you think you could rap? Like, when you got the CBO now, you're thinking, like, what was you thinking?
I seen done it.
Okay.
No more rapping.
And I don't remember CBOs before that. In fact, maybe LD got one. Do you get why he had to not wear his mask or something? I can't remember.
I don't even know, innit?
Yeah. But you lot's thing.
They were saying man's the first to get the CBO.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Man's just cool, just going off what they're saying, but boom. Oh, yeah, man's come out. That's why man took so long to release. Normally, you think these men are in jail for a year.
Yeah.
Done a whole 12 months, they're gonna come out and release them straight away. Bro, man's come out, but man's thinking, bro, man can't even rap.
Yeah.
So I think man come out in October or something. And man didn't release till like late November. Something crazy like that. People are like, bro, these men have been out here for a time. Man's name was just ringing bells. Like, why is he not dropping?
I think he's just wasting it.
Yeah, but man's saying, bro, man didn't know man can rap.
Yeah. Oh, you thought the CBO meant it's over, like no rapping?
Bro, no rapping.
Okay.
But of course, this was not the case, and after Digger was released in October 2018, it would take him a full month to release any music, even though the entire UK drill scene was now waiting for him to drop. Then, in early November, he would finally put out a new song, No Porkies, together with Sav O and ZK from the former 1011, who are now officially going by the name CTM.
Diggy D, he do got some good music. Diggy D do got some good music, but I feel like I don't know, man. I think it might be the accent, or I might be tripping, y'all. I don't really know. And if y'all see my like this, just saying I'm tired, but I'm still trying to push these videos out for you guys to where, you know what I'm saying?
Which at least officially at this point seemed to stand for constantly getting money, as they would state in the intro to this track. But while Digger and Sav O had both been ordered not to make any references to death or injury, they were seemingly still not holding back too much, as they were still rapping about sliding on their ops and not settling any beefs, with the only clear difference being that they were no longer mentioning their ops by name. However, in real life, it seems like very little, if anything, had changed when it came to how Digger and the 1011 members moved in the streets, and already in November 2018, they would allegedly get themselves involved in another violent incident, only this time Central C himself would be involved. Now at this point, Central C was still experimenting with his career and playing around with auto-tune and doing a dappy tribute act that honestly wasn't really going anywhere, but he was about to come face to face with the gritty gang violence of the roads that he had occasionally referenced in his early music, and it would be his ties to Shepherd's Bush and his friends affiliated with the 12 World and 12 Anti-gangs that would get him tangled up in the violence, forcing him to pick a side too. As on the 30th of November 2018, Central C and his brother were with some friends outside of a Sainsbury's grocery store on Davisville Road in Shepherd's Bush. Here, they were approached by two males, one of whom was allegedly Digger D himself. A verbal altercation would take place between the parties before a knife was pulled out and Central C's brother was stabbed. As the police arrived to the scene, they would begin to assist his brother, who appeared to be partially slumped and in danger of going unconscious. Central himself would first act hostile towards the police, and nobody would provide any details of what happened at the scene. Central C's brother was then taken to a hospital where his lungs were treated and he was given a blood transfusion, while the hospital staff would reportedly find numerous small bags of grass in his trousers, indicating that he had possibly been drug dealing at the time of the attack. Now, not much information is available about this incident other than the apparent police report, which one of the CGM, formerly 1011 members, called Duppy, would post on his Instagram in 2021, whilst dissing Central C and asking why he didn't move wild in the West that day, as well as saying that he wasn't going to talk about the incident, but since Central C started putting 100 ops in his music videos, he's now fully involved in the beef too. But more on that later. Digger D would later rap about this stabbing incident on several songs. In 2021, he dropped his beatbox freestyle while the song was originally
What? Damn. Some people are not the homies, you know what I'm saying? Not everybody's the homies, you know?
released as a censored version. An uncensored version would eventually leak, with Digger rapping how they stabbed Central C's brother, pleaded not guilty, but still ended up beating the case. Also in 2021, an alleged plugged-in freestyle with Fumes the Engineer would apparently leak, where Digger D would rap how Central C just stood there and watched them stab his brother, with fans reacting on social media, saying how the song was definitely going to get Digger recalled to prison for breaking his CBO. However, Digger himself would deny ever even being at Fumes' studio. The song still circulates. Meanwhile, on Reddit, the online detectives have alleged that a member of the so-called LA gang was the person who did the actual stabbing in this situation. This gang, which is from around the Latimer Road area, is apparently very close with 1011 or CGM members. But whoever was behind the actual stabbing, this was only the beginning of the troubles that Digger would find himself in, as he had seemingly learned very little from his run-ins with the law, and already the following year, in 2019, he would find himself locked up again. But even more interestingly, it would be after this knife-point brush with death that Central C would have a spark of inspiration, deciding to get even closer to the streets rather than backing away, taking inspiration from Digger D's life and violent drill music, and deciding it was time to do a complete 180. At this point, Centr dropped the auto-tune and begun to make much more gritty drill music that appealed to the gangsters on the streets rather than the girls in the club. And it would turn out that this strategy would take Central C right to the top of the game, but it would also have the unintended consequence of making him a bigger target in the streets than he had ever.
Exactly. You can probably make more money, but it's also going to put you into an environment where now you have a bigger target on your back. people from your own city going to take you out because of this right here. No lie, not even lying.
Ever been before. Central Cee had been making and releasing music since 2014, and despite showing early promise in a few of his freestyles, mainstream success still eluded him. Having tried multiple styles of rap so far, Central Cee was still riding the wave of melodic singing and auto-tune rap at the beginning of 2019. Cench's next release was teased by Cairo Keys on Instagram with the Live Your Movie hashtag on March 24th, 2019, hinting at another collaboration between the dynamic duo. Their next song would be a sequel to their last collab that dropped about a year before, when Central Cee featured on Cairo Keys' album Heartless, another track that had that early trap wave style. Just a few months later, on June the 24th, Grime Daily would upload the song back to back, which featured Central Cee and Cairo Keys, a Live Your Movie production. The song had a catchy guitar melody with a trap beat, and Cairo Keys soon followed up with a catchy hook focused on chasing the money and buying designer drip for his girl.
The only thing I feel like for these rappers is like when they be trying to become rappers, like rappers, bro. I feel like they gotta go to like the gang stuff because that's what people like. People want to hear like doom drills and then talking about it in the songs, you know what I'm saying? And that's what people can come up because that's what people want to hear instead from Lil Durk, from King Von and NBA Youngboy. Like people like that, they want to hear that because that's what they like to hear. I don't know why, but they do.
The feel-good track was heavily influenced by Lil Baby and Gunna and saw an amazing chemistry and back and forth with an effortless dynamic clearly developing between Cairo Keys and Central Cee. The track had all the ingredients to become a decent summer jam. Although he wasn't yet the artist we know today, Central was at least starting to get better at flowing melodically over trap beats, with much less of that dappy from N-Dub's cringe from his earlier work. This track didn't feel forced like some of his previous songs. It sounded good, but it's hard to deny that the up-and-coming star Cairo Keys played a major role in the song's success, and at the time of its release, fans in the comments shared the same sentiment, predicting the track was destined to blow up, and while some gave their props to Central Cee, there appeared to be a clear bias towards Cairo Keys being the better performer on the track, with one commenter even asking what Central Cee even contributed to the song. But all in all, fans were still happy with the collaboration, calling the pair brothers for life. And Back to Back became one of Central Cee's best performing songs so far, with 108,000 streams in less than 3 weeks. Central Cee's determination and creative growth was starting to show. His flow had improved, becoming more confident and refined, while his beat selection was also improving and Americanizing his sound. However, at this point, it still wasn't enough. Their collaboration on the track highlighted the talent and chemistry between Cench and Cairo, but unfortunately their partnership would later come under strain too, leading to a series of unfortunate events that became a topic of discussion on Reddit and for YouTube documentarians, which accused Central Cee of jacking Cairo's style and then leaving him in the dust. But arguably, Cench didn't actually succeed until he changed his style away from what he was doing with Cairo, and Cairo himself eventually found massive success in his own original style with the song Gang. But Cee's next appearance would prove to be a defining moment in his career and a big evolution of his style. After his violent altercation with Digga D, where his brother was stabbed at the end of 2018, it would be ironic to just about a year later see Central Cee popping up on the very same freestyle platform that saw West London menace Digga D catapulted to fame, because on October the 9th, 2019, Central Cee was featured on Mixtape Madness's Next Up freestyle series, rapping into the mic in the same iconic location beside the Thames River in London. Now, in a stark contrast to Digga D's aggressive and violent Next Up freestyle, Central Cee would start the track with heavy autotune, singing melodic raps all about his time as a drug dealer and his ambitions to become rich, bragging in autotune about even selling drugs while in school, and ironically saying that everything he says is authentic. But make no mistake, even though it wasn't a violent UK drill style Next Up freestyle like Digga's was, it was still fire. Cench was really doing his thing even with the autotune singing and starting to sound really good on the mic. But then, in a surprising move, more than halfway through the track, there would be a beat switch, as is usually the case on Next Up freestyles being two-parters. And really, this is the moment where Central Cee truly evolved. Suddenly, the autotune turned off and Cench begun rapping over a dark, moody rap beat in his natural voice. This was the pivotal moment in Central Cee's career. He would drop the pretty boy act and keep it real rap. He sounded better, more...
Did you see this? The thing is, bro, you can literally talk about stuff and people will believe it's the same thing what 6ix9ine was doing. But they later found out that 6ix9ine was really not like that. He was just talking about it, or what the gang, or what he was hanging around with. That was people that he was hanging out with. That was the people that, you know, so the people that was what the people would basically like. You can rap like this, but you're not doing it. You're just getting money for you and the people, but they're still doing the work. You know what I'm saying? I think that's what the pretty much means. Sorry, my mind is so over the place. I'm tired. I'm trying to focus and get these videos out for you guys because you know what I'm saying. I'm trying to grind. I'm trying to get to this 2K subs and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying?
Confident, more himself, and his lyrics about drug dealing in this context suddenly felt a lot more believable and respectable. One YouTube comment later said, referencing famous lyrics from his later track Day in the Life, this indeed was the moment where he turned off his auto-tune so we could hear how he really raps. The video is now flooded with more recent comments saying that the beat switch was indeed the moment that we met the Central C we know today, pointing out the many styles he had tried out before finally finding this perfect style. As 2019 began with Central C releasing the track Transition, it fittingly concluded with yet another significant transition in his career. By the end of 2019, Central C had refined his style and flow, finding that sound that would eventually propel him to the top of the charts in the UK and beyond. The Next Up freestyle marked this breakthrough, testament to his hard work, and little did he know, he truly was next up. In his 2023 interview with Vogue, Central C reflected on his defeated mindset that he had in 2019, saying that after 7 years of making music and experimenting with different styles, gaining no recognition, his confidence had hit an all-time low. But it was during this slump that Central would meet his current manager, YB's, a mysterious figure that is apparently a big part of Central C's success. With an air of mystery around him, YB's keeps his face covered. A bit of a pointless exercise when he used to be a bait-faced rapper, but still. In a 2024 interview with GQ, YB's revealed that he'd reached out to Central C after he saw a post of him rapping on Instagram in 2019. YB's is often credited with playing a crucial role in Central C's dramatic shift and subsequent success, helping Central adapt to not using auto-tune and getting distribution for his music, something that Central and Adam22 would discuss in detail in his No Jumper interview.
Like, had you started to have like a manager or any kind of people behind you when these songs started popping off?
Yeah, I had my manager. I met my manager like a year before we dropped that song, and he hit me like,
YB's?
yeah,
I heard that he was I heard from a friend of mine that he's like pretty respected and that they think he's kind of pretty integral in you being able to pull all this off. Would you agree with that?
yeah, no, he is for sure.
Central also told Adam about YB's constant encouragement that pushed his career forward.
But I didn't have no music really, like at all, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was more so on the roads, and he was meeting me here and there, just trying to like encourage me to do music and take it more serious. But I didn't have like the right song.
Now when they talking about roads, I don't know what that meant at first. I'm pretty sure he talking about roads. I think that means he was in the streets. I think that's what they call it. I think they just said roads, but I'm pretty sure what he's talking about that he was in the streets. But you know, what I'm saying Bob B's wanted him to do music, but I think he's saying like he was in the streets. I'm pretty sure that's what that means.
I was going to studio here and there.
So Sench hired YB as his official manager, despite not having that much industry experience, simply because he believed in him and the vision that he had for his career.
But the weird thing was he had no experience in music. He was just telling me like how it is. He was telling me I don't really have too much experience in managing or anything, but I'm a quick learner and whatever. And he didn't tell me, like, you see when you meet a lot of people in music and whatever, they sell you a dream and they tell you like, they tell you what you want to hear. He wasn't doing any of that, and I hate that stuff, like when people do that and try to sell you a dream, tell you what you want to hear and all that.
Although new to management, YB's was no stranger to the rap game, because before 2013, he had actually been rapping under the name YB Bello, such as on the May 2013 track Find My Way intro, where he raps over a dubstep beat with even a young Tion Wayne making an appearance in the video. But you can best hear his rap style at the time from this December 2012 mixtape Madness freestyle, with plenty lyrics about trapping that no doubt meant he would be capable of helping Central C come up with similar lyrics. Now, clearly Bello's music career didn't take off, and rebranding himself as YB's and beginning to hide his face to create a mysterious aura no doubt helped him and Central C capture their fans' interest. And while we don't have much information on any contractual agreements between the two, or YB's actual qualifications as a music manager, it was clear that behind the scenes, he was a man with a plan, and his help would certainly make a difference in Central C's career from here on out. Now, a lot of posts on Reddit have circulated speculating on how YB's was able to put Central C on in the rap game so effectively, with some suggesting that at the time he became Central C's manager, YB's actually had a lot of money already through his investments in crypto and jewelry, no doubt made possible by some of that trapping that he was rapping about doing back in the day. And apparently this wasn't YB's first rodeo, as he had previously managed another prominent UK rapper, Rimsey. So YB's used some of his mysteriously gotten money to provide Central C with the necessary financial support to get his career moving. But for someone who likes to hide his identity,
and man, you gotta get money somehow, some way, you know what I'm saying? You gotta get it somehow, some way. Don't matter how you get it, You just gotta get it. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sir.
YB's really does seem to love attention on social media, because ever since becoming Sench's manager, associating himself with this talented rising star has led YB's to get a little drunk off his own success. And over the years of Sench's rise, he's found himself constantly bragging on social media and positioning himself as the real brains behind the operation. YB shared some screenshots of conversations between him and Central C after they became successful, with photos showing £100,000 in cash and a caption boasting how when labels were offering them £1 million deals, he was already running up $1 million some other way, and later sharing screenshots of one of his Bitcoin wallets with Central C in a conversation where he seemed to be updating Sench on every few $100s that he was making in crypto. Years later, while on No Jumper, Central C would speak on approaching YB's for help, working on and pushing his breakout track Day in the Life.
So when I came with that song, came to him, I said, look, this is the one. He's like, you sure? I said, yeah, cool. I said, yeah, this is the one. Let's push it. I want you to help me work it. He said, all right, cool.
So now, with a sharp strategy to drop the auto-tune, pick up a more gangster persona, and with the backing of his mysterious ex-trapper crypto-pumping manager, it would be time for Central C to begin his full takeover of the UK drill scene, and conveniently doing so whilst his biggest rival in West London, Digga D, was facing massive hurdles in his career and constant spells of incarceration. Together, they would carefully craft a unique drill persona, with Sench going forward positioned more like a mascot for West London roadmen, a drastic switch up from his old pretty boy image. They created a clean artistic slate by removing old content and photos from the internet, including
So this means like he couldn't do like the pretty boy music stuff like that. To what he did to the streets, kind of like 6ix9ine a little bit. And I'm not saying Central C is 6ix9ine, but I'm saying like, see how 6ix9ine went to that gangster music, and that took 6ix9ine, like 6ix9ine went crazy out. Do you see how 6ix9ine did that type of music and 6ix9ine went crazy? It kind of sounds like the way that Central C is doing the same thing. I'm not in line.
Releases with other artists like Cairo Keys. Central C didn't really want people to know about or see his embarrassing auto-tuned attempts to become a rapper now that he decided on this new lane to be in, so you know he's gonna hate this video. But once he had scrubbed all of his cringe past from the internet, Sench went dark for a 7-month period and didn't drop any music, but he was still active, apparently taking steps to continue positioning himself to be as street as possible and posting up around the serious gangsters from his area. As this musical hiatus was also around the time that we have the earliest publicly available proof of Sench, together with the infamous 12 anti-member F. both being seen on an Instagram story made by Central C, with Central C rocking the same hairstyle that he had in his Next Up freestyle from October 2019. Now, Sench had apparently also begun inviting West London gangsters to the studio with him to create an authentic UK drill vibe whilst he was recording, with the presence of these gang members apparently encouraging him to rap bars and come up with lyrics that would impress these street-focused thugs that he was keeping around him, with C explaining in a later interview that his next song was recorded in a local studio with about 10 people, including Box 12, A2 Anti, and other local affiliates, and that he would, quote, feed off that energy. C would ultimately break his musical silence on April the 5th, 2020, for the select few that were watching Central C's Instagram live at the time. Once again, taking the fake gangster persona seriously, strategically donning latex gloves as if he was about to go on a non-existent drill. With Bambino behind him in the studio, Central C played over a minute of the nearly finished song that would be his next release, the track Day in the Life. Now, from the very start, this song was an undeniable banger, and at the end of playing it, a very proud Central C would end the Instagram live. Sench clearly knew that he had something special here, but him and his team wanted to build the hype even further before releasing it. His next appearance came a week later on April the 11th with an Instagram freestyle, with him rapping over a traditional rap beat. C shared raw tales of his drug dealing past, his struggles, the harsh realities of trapping, and his determination to succeed. A drastic shift from the dappy style love songs of his past, he was now knee-deep into the street drill.
Or does this nigga look like Six? Look, am I tripping? Does he look like 6ix9ine? Like, take the younger version of 6ix9ine when he was trying to come up and put it next to Central C right here. Dude, bro, it looks this. I'm not even lying, bro. It looks the same, bro. I'm not even lying. Bro, look. If y'all.
Real sound. And Sench wasn't the only one, as before he fully came out of the roadman closet with a fresh Nike tech, some of the real gangsters from his area would continue making noise in music too, as on April the 12th, 2020, 12 Antis, Box 12, and F. and Bankroll dropped a plugged-in freestyle with Fumes the Engineer on Link Up.
I'm sorry, I'm really trying to say that, but like, y'all see my eyes, bro. I'm trying, but we We finna keep going, y'all. We finna keep going.
TV's YouTube channel. The track was characterized by hard-hitting drill lyrics, all about the 12 Anti members' gangbanging activities in the streets. F. Dot rapped about his past stabbings, saying that he's lost count of how many he's done, and that he's always ready to attack his ops any day, any time. Even eerily at one point describing filling a gun with bullets and shooting his ops in the head, and dissing an op for playing dead during a stabbing incident. 12 Anti were keeping their gang relevant in music after Digga D and 1011 turned CGM had such an incredible run over the last few years. But within a few months of this freestyle dropping, it would be Central C who would be taking the crown as the most relevant rapper associated with the 12 postcode gangs in London, as on June the 14th, 2020, Central C's life would change forever when he releases the song and music video for Day in the Life, a release that marked the biggest turning point in his more than 7-year career. With its captivating bars and infectious horn sample looped over a booming UK drill beat arrangement, combined with Central C's new roadman persona and an impeccable collection of Nike Tech and Trap Star tracksuits, the track was a bullseye for his target audience. The song featured aggressive, vivid lyrics with Sench painting a picture of life in the streets of West London. The first two bars being the hook, as Sench references what he did in part 2 of his Next Up freestyle, and continuing on this song, telling the audience to turn off the auto-tune and see how people really rap. He would of course talk about selling drugs and trapping extensively, and in an effort to appeal to the hardened gangsters losing friends to the streets, he ended his first verse with a tribute to a 12 World member A1 who was stabbed to death whilst trapping before turning 18. Day in the Life was Central C's finest hour so far, and the comments at the time of its release would confirm that, saying that this song was 100 times better than anything in his previous catalogue, with many positive comments from international audiences who claimed to have fallen in love with Sench's British accent. The song was doing numbers, racking up over 150,000 views just 2 days after its release, Central C's biggest debut yet, hitting a massive 2.4 million views within just a month. Even Cairo Keys at the time was happy for him. Day in the Life today currently sits over 94 million views and over 234 million Spotify streams. And the track would debut on the UK singles charts the next year, around the time of the release of Sench's Wild West mixtape that had the song on it. But despite the late debut, Day in the Life would be Central C's first big hit, peaking at number 44 and spending 5 weeks on the UK Top 100 charts. And it was an international hit too, as Day in the Life went on to be certified gold in the UK, Sweden, Canada, France, and New Zealand, and even platinum in Australia. Sench and YB's new strategy had hit the nail on the head. The beat, the lyrics, the outfits, and the overall message was perfectly on point, and the track really did paint a picture of a genuine day in the life for thousands of London youths, and as a result, the song would resonate with the streets like crazy. Speaking with URN Network years later, Central C's manager YB's would actually share their plan after the release of Day in the Life. Apparently, C and his team decided at this point not to overwhelm the audience with a bunch of remixes and efforts to milk this one track for more than it was worth. Instead, they focused on just releasing brand new songs. YB's explained that by taking this approach, new listeners would discover Day in the Life alongside Central C's other tracks, helping him avoid the one-hit wonder curse. Just a few days before dropping his next track, Central C was seen giving fans a sneak peek by rapping along to it in his car. About a month after Day in the Life dropped, on July the 26th, 2020, Central released another drug dealer anthem called Molly. The music video started with a huge crowd in Shepherd's Bush, all rapping along to the earlier release song Day in the Life. In the next shot, Sench flaunting his Live Yours chain, the new more punchy evolution of Live Your Movie. On this new banging beat produced by Ghosty and Chris Rich, we would hear Central C rapping drug dealer bars over a haunting beat, referencing his previous bars in Day in the Life about selling party drugs, but this time specifically mentioning that he was the one passing out Molly at parties. Central C also moved beyond just rapping about interactions with women and life living in the bando, rapping that he was having endless talks with labels, being lowballed, and making it clear that he was looking for the same record deal as Manchester rapper H, someone that he would have jealousy issues with later in his career, with Sench rapping that he wants at least £1 million to sign a deal, and that his deal must be as big as H's deal, with H
That's crazy how he met somebody, boom, did the gangster persona, and now Central C is going crazy. Do y'all believe Central C is really like that? Do y'all believe he's not like that? He's just doing that gangster persona because that's what everybody likes, and that's what everybody wants to listen to. That's what everybody, you know what I'm saying? That's what people want to listen to, is that you talking about the streets, what you did about the streets, your odds, this and that. I don't know why, but people love that type of stuff. It's crazy, but people love it.
H having recently just signed an enormous deal with Caroline International in February 2020, while Sench at this time was apparently being offered deals as low as £20,000. Sench's struggles to get signed was something that YBs would joke about in their conversations at the time, asking C if he would join a reformed N-Dubs if they offered him £1 million. But anyway, Molly was Central C's latest drug dealer anthem, and the fans were loving it. Upon release, YouTube comments noted how Sench went from average to dropping absolute hits, and how it was about time that he blew up in the rap game, praising him for finally finding his sound. Day in the Life and Molly were a powerful 1-2 punch, and Sench's name was now buzzing in the UK drill scene, with Day in the Life being the better performer, and Molly dropping within a month of his initial hit, giving fans even more music to enjoy, especially since C's old catalogue had been scrubbed from the internet. Molly would gain over 3 million views over the next 3 months, and as of today, it has over 18 million views, and close to 39 million streams on Spotify. This would have been a massive success for C had he not just had an even bigger track with Day in the Life, but from here, Sench showed no signs of letting up, and he would continue to make big appearances in the UK rap scene. On August the 16th, 2020, Central C delivered a memorable freestyle on the Mad About Bars series, hosted by leading British DJ and radio presenter Kenny Allstar, with Kenny Allstar introducing Central C as destined for greatness. Building on the success of his previous 2 releases, even Central C's freestyle received 1 million views in less than a week. At this point in his career, making 8 figures from music might have seemed like a dream, but as time went on, this began to seem more and more like an inevitability than a dream. Following his 2 previous successes with Day in the Life and Molly, Sench would release the music video for his hit track Loading on October the 22nd, 2020. The music video, like his previous ones, was shot in Shepherd's Bush. Cairo Keys and 12 Anti members made appearances in the video, giving C a much needed extra dose of street credibility. And despite claiming on the hook not to be on the roads too tough, in other bars he alluded to his little brother carrying a knife and openly claiming that his homies leap out of cars with masks on to do drills, even claiming that when he goes on dates with women, he makes them hold his weapons. He also showcases iconic West London locations like Shepherd's Bush Market, as well as extensively shining a light on London street culture at the time, riding around the city on electric scooters in a plethora of hyped tracksuits. Central C struck gold with Loading, and it quickly surpassed Day in the Life. The song achieved over 1 million views within just 5 days of its release, over 4.5 million views in a month, close to 9 million views by the end of 2020, and today, Loading has a whopping 184 million views on YouTube and 394 million streams on Spotify. Loading debuted on the UK singles charts at number 37, the song would eventually rising to number 19 and enjoying a solid 20-week run on the charts. The track also made waves in the Irish singles charts, peaking at number 39 and staying on the charts for a remarkable 30 weeks.
Oh yeah, that is part 3. Part 4 will be even longer, probably an hour long. But yeah, I'm tired. I'm trying to get some sleep. I would have done longer, but I'm tired. I can't even focus. But I'll see you guys into part 4. Yo.